So in the last section, we looked at what makes a parallelogram. But now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be testing whether or not something is a parallelogram. So if I give you this, before I said this is a parallelogram, solve for x, solve for y. But now I'm saying I don't know if this is a parallelogram or not. So find out. Or in this case, I'm saying, hey, find x and y assuming that this is a parallelogram. Well, if this is a parallelogram, then that means that opposite sides are congruent. So 6x minus 12 is equal to 2x plus 36. So I get 4x is equal to 48, so x is equal to 12. Likewise, I must have that 4y equals 6y minus 42. So I get 2y is equal to 42, or y is equal to 21. That would make this a parallelogram. I could also have this. So I could have a whole bunch of coordinates, and I want to find out if this is a parallelogram or not. Well, in order for this to be a parallelogram, yet again, opposite sides must be congruent. Opposite sides must be parallel. So, if I think about it this way, if the opposite sides are parallel, then they must be congruent. Likewise, if the opposite sides are congruent, then they must be parallel. So as long as I show one or the other, I'm okay. I think that showing parallel lines is a little bit easier. So first off, let me graph this, just so I have a little mental image of what this is going to look like. So, not a whole lot of negative numbers here. Okay. So the first point is 3, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there we go. That's A. Next point is 8, 2. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 2. 6, negative 1. So it's 8, 7, 6. Negative 1. C. And then D is 1, 0. So does this make a parallelogram? Well, let's connect the dots here. So I don't know, maybe it looks like it, but I'm a horrible artist, and even if we do this on graphing paper, we need to show. So what we need to do is we need to show the slope of AD is equal to BC. So let's do the slope of AD is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if I'm looking at AD, I could do 3 minus 0. Whoops, don't know what happened there. 3 minus 0 over 3 minus 1, which is equal to 3 over 2. Now the slope of BC, this would be 8 minus a negative 1 over 2 minus 6. Right, 8 minus a negative 1 over 2 minus 6, yep. So this would equal 9 over negative 4, which we can, no, we can't do anything for. Although, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The y's, I need to subtract the y's. So BC, it's going to be 2 minus a negative 1 over 8 minus 6. So this is going to be 3 over 2. Hey, all right. So these two sides are parallel. Great. So now let's find the other pair. So let's find the slope of AB. So the slope of AB, this is going to be 3 minus 2 over 3 minus 8. So this is a negative 1/5. And the slope of DC, or CD, this is going to be equal to negative 1 minus 0 over 6 minus 1, which is equal to negative 1/5. Look at that. These two are parallel. So because we have two pairs of parallel sides, yes, this is a parallelogram. Now, if I wanted to, I could show this showing that the opposite sides are congruent, equal distance, and I would use the distance formula. But you don't need to show both because one implies the other. So by showing that two pairs of opposite sides make up this quadrilateral, I've shown that it's a parallelogram. And so that's all I need to do. So we're going to have more questions like this. So make sure you review with midpoint formula and continue reviewing the key traits of a parallelogram.